Hi, Candace Clare with swansage.com, and today I am going to do a very simple but very traditional Ayurvedic elixir of golden milk, and the only difference is I'm going to make this one chilled. It's sort of contrary to most Ayurveda wisdom, and normally you would drink this, you could drink it anytime during the day, but drinking it before bed really helps have better sleep. And we say in Ayurveda that this is ojas building. So ojas it's like a 30-day process from your digestion. It's like the most sacred substance of your digestion. So you want to be eating well and having good emotions to get good ojas. It's kind of like what gives your life force energy sweetness and what you really need to function at your best. So this is an elixir that will actually help with that. So we're going to start with 2 dates, and you can adjust this depending on how much you're making, but I'm going to go ahead and put 2 dates in here, and then we can you can do a couple of different things. Most people now have issues with dairy, and way back when it was actually a very what we call sattvic, or really pure substance, but it was not adulterated like it is now. And so if you don't want to use dairy, sometimes you can, if you're in a place that you can find dairy that has not had the hormones and all the stuff put in it, antibiotics, and hasn't been pasteurized, then you can do it with that if that's what you can tolerate. But I'm going to use a coconut almond milk. If you didn't have a coconut almond milk, you could put in a handful of almonds and a handful of coconut flakes and some water. So I always like to let you know there's flexibility. So I'm going to use my Vitamix and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in, most of it. And then we're going to add just a couple of things. Turmeric is, we hear a lot about that being such a great anti-inflammatory. It's actually really great for mood stabilizing. So if you're experiencing some depression or some mood issues, turmeric has now been shown to really help with that, along with saffron. Saffron we think of as, so it's that expensive spice, and you don't need a lot. Saffron I always love to use in my elixirs because it's very beautifying for the skin. It's really great for that, but it also has some good research that it too helps with mood enhancement. So these are 2 great things to put in for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in just a nice pinch of saffron. It's going to make this a beautiful golden color, but that's okay because so is the turmeric. And so the turmeric we'll put in, I'll just put in like a half of a teaspoon. Or actually I'll put in about a teaspoon because I'm making a serving more than just for one. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some turmeric. And turmeric is used so much in India. It's just such a great all-around spice for your digestion, for inflammation, for just about anything. And the last spice I'm going to put in is cardamom. And cardamom is also used a lot in Indian cooking, but it's what we call a carminative herb, and that helps with digestion and in particular with gas. So it's a nice thing to take before you go to bed at night. So again, just take anywhere to your taste from a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. If you're just making it for one, you could do a quarter teaspoon. And then, so normally we would warm this up and have it as a little bit of a warm drink before we go to bed. That is just very relaxing, and it just helps ease one into a good night's sleep. But I'm making this actually earlier in the evening, and it's very hot out, and so I've been making chilled elixirs. So we're just going to do this as a chilled elixir today. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a little raw honey. You always want honey raw. If it's heated or boiled, then you've not only lost the medicinal effects, but in Ayurvedic tradition, you've just made poison. So you never want to, you can warm honey up, but you never want to really heat it and make it hot. So if you were making this as a warm elixir, you would go ahead and gently cook the herbs, everything that I just put in there. And you wouldn't bring it to a full boil, but you just like bring it up to a nice warm temperature. And then you'd off the heat, and then you'd add a teaspoon or honey to taste at that point. So again, since I'm doing this as a cool elixir, I'm gonna go ahead and just put it in now. So I will just take out a spoonful of honey. And honey is actually, it's very healing. It's very antimicrobial. So internally and externally, sometimes if you have a cut, and this is the first thing you can go to, it will help the cut heal. And then some people who have, stomach bugs, stomach issues, can use honey because it is an antibacterial, antiviral. It's just a very good healing substance. And it's kind of an old remedy that if one has like a sore throat, or certainly in the winter, sometimes just taking a spoonful of honey and putting in, like I use essential oils a lot, putting in mixing in to the honey a drop of oregano. You could put in a drop of, what else could you put on? You could put in ginger and honey. You could put a little cinnamon in there, and those will help fight off the germs and soothe your throat. You could add lemon to it. So a lot of medicinal qualities to honey. The last thing is you want to add a little bit of a very pure oil. Traditionally, we would add a teaspoon of ghee. This will not only help with the absorption with the herbs, especially the turmeric, but it's also great for calming the brain and healing the brain. So normally ghee, coconut oil, I have a very pure organic coconut oil. I'm going to add that because coconut is great in the summertime, and it's one that you would use for pitta, which is heat, to help balance that. So I'm just going to pour in about a teaspoon of this honey as well. And so this is my coconut oil. In the winter, this would be solid, but because it's warm out, it actually is not solid. And then I always love to add just a pinch of sea salt. It just helps bring everything together. And interestingly, to help our bodies absorb turmeric, it needs pepper and the oil. We've already got the oil. It is shown that you take turmeric, and if you did it alone versus putting pepper, especially the pepper and then the oil with it, it's like 2,000 times more effective. So anytime you take turmeric, now you know, just add a little black pepper. We won't even taste this, but it's gonna really help. And last but not least, I am going to, I'll go ahead and blend this as is. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of ice to this. So it'll be loud, plug your ears. Okay, now I'm just going to add a little crushed ice so that we can have a chilled elixir for this hot evening. And here we go. All right, let's see what this looks like. It's going to be a nice golden color. So So this is it. You can always, so this is the basic. Now the other thing that you could do is add a few adaptogenic herbs. The two classic ones for this particular beverage would be ashwagandha and shatavari. These are both, well, ashwagandha is considered an adaptogenic herb that can really help fortify our systems for stress and stress management and help us handle stresses in our life better. Shatavari is a classic Ayurvedic herb for women's hormones. They actually say it's the hormone for the woman with 100 husbands. Who would want that? I don't know. But if it's that powerful, why not? So enjoy and start playing around with these elixirs. If you don't have every ingredient, it's fine. You want to just have fun with it and you'll start learning how to build. We could turn this into a big superfood drink. I could add some medicinal mushroom tea to that. I could add some other superfood herbs. I could even add some raw cacao powder. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but this is our classic. So I hope you enjoyed that. Namaste.